Hello and welcome to Who Watches Who with some breaking news from earlier in the day. Definitely not news I was expecting to wake up to, but we've got the 14th Doctor has been announced just out of nowhere with no fanfare, nothing, just a random Twitter, Facebook, and social media post. There you go.
It doesn't feel real. Even when I was looking at the post, I'm like, okay, Ncuti Gatwa is the new Doctor. I then looked at who posted it and I saw a blue check mark. And I'm like, yeah, this is legit, but it feels unreal still.
Yeah, it is incredible. Usually there's at least a little bit of fanfare. Jodie didn't get too much fanfare. If I'm remembering correctly.
Jodie had that. It was a men's final of the Wimbledon Cup or whatever fuck you want to call it. It was tennis. Or was it football? Can't remember. It was some sporting event, and her trailer was shown at the end of that, which everybody was anticipating. We knew about it ahead of time, and everybody was watching, waiting for it. Here, it was just like, oh yeah, we're not even going to mention when we're going to drop the news. It's just going to be a random social media post.
Yeah, but it did... I guess it kind of worked because it went viral like mental. Everybody started talking about it. It was this, shock. Oh my God. Everybody started messaging, I had group chats going off about it and stuff like that. So this was some viral marketing on BBC that actually worked, unlike when they just deleted all of their accounts.
Yeah, well, I still can't believe when they just deleted their accounts and that was their marketing for the day, It was bullshit.
Yeah, but, Ncuti, what was his last name again? Hang on.
Gatwa.
Yeah, I wanted to say Nagatwa, but no, it's Ncuti Gatwa. A very good actor. You've been familiarizing yourself this past few hours by watching Sex Education. I've been watching Sex Education, I think, since the second series came out. I love that show. He's very, very good in it. Although, to be fair, everybody's very good in that show.
Yeah. I just watched the first episode of Sex Education just because that's one of the things he's really been in. I only watched episode 1. He's in it for like 10 minutes, but yeah, he gives a very good performance so far.
Is he really not in it that much in the first episode? Wow.
No, he's basically like the 4th or 5th most important character in the first episode.
Oh, wow. He gets a lot more screen time as it goes on, like whole storylines and stuff.
Yeah.
But, it's a TV show. All the characters get more stuff as it goes on. You're just learning about little Asa Butterfield at the moment. But yeah, so what's your general feeling then on this casting of the Doctor?
Obviously I'm not that familiar with him. I think he's a good actor so far. Not great, because I've only seen 10 minutes of his work, but I'm mostly positive about this. I trust Russell T Davies to pick a great Doctor. He's done a great job with his 2 Doctors beforehand, and everybody's going crazy about this announcement. Ncuti Gatwa is apparently a really good actor, and I tend to trust the general opinion of the internet.
And to be fair, we've never had a bad actor play the Doctor.
Yeah, we really haven't.
But the BBC, of course, wrote an article about this, as it is a BBC TV show, and they said that the 29-year-old will become the 14th Time Lord on this popular science fiction show. They never actually say Doctor Who, and that bit interesting. He's the first person of colour to play the lead role, and he's from Scotland. He's a Scottish actor. It's another Scottish Doctor, which is great. Although if you do hear Ncuti talk, he doesn't have the thickest Scottish accent in the world. It sounds more English to me.
Yeah.
But if I was him, just turn that Scottish to 11. Just really lean
please.
into it. Capaldi 2.0, please. But he told BBC that it feels really amazing and it's a true honor. This is a role. This role is an institution and it's so iconic. And he says that it means a lot to a lot of people, including himself. I feel very grateful to have the baton handed over, and I'm going to try to do my best. I've seen the quote that he said multiple times today about the two hearts, where he's like, the doctor might have two hearts, but I've only got one, and I'm going to give this show my all, which is just an excellent quote that has been circled around. And, his social media post before the news came out was two hearts in a blue box. They're really leaning into this two heart aspect suddenly, but I think it's just, because it's like this love thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So so my theory about this news is I think it was going to be leaked by maybe like the Sun or the Mirror or something like that, and suddenly they had to be like, oh shit, we need to get on top of this. So that's why the announcement had little to no fanfare, I'd imagine. That feels possible.
Maybe, but sometimes, even if leaks or stuff comes out, you always take it with that pinch of salt that you wait for the official announcement. Maybe this is just how they were always planning on doing it. Which is strange, but the BBC's marketing of Doctor Who has been strange, so...
Yeah, very strange, but speaking of marketing, Russell D. Davies has gone on the record of saying, we're going to be quiet for now because obviously we're leading up to Jodie's final episode, but once 2023 hits, he won't shut up about it, is what he basically said. So I think once we get past this era, I think the marketing is going to be a bit better, I'd imagine.
I'd hope so. But speaking of Russell T Davies, he also shed some interesting light on the casting of Shooty here, where he said it was our last audition. It was our very last one. We thought we had someone, and then he came in and stole it, which is very interesting, because with what was it? Matt Smith was like the first person that auditioned, and then Capaldi, he was the only one that auditioned.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
which
is insane
for this guy to come in as the last one. It makes me curious as to who was the one that had it, and will they be the next Doctor? Yeah,
it's entirely possible. Like Peter Capaldi was in consideration for the Eighth Doctor, so anyone who's been considered for the Doctor could be the Doctor.
Anybody that's been in Doctor Who already could still be the Doctor, as seen with Capaldi again.
And Colin Baker.
And it's very interesting. There were rumors Martin Sheen was a name that got thrown around a lot. I'd still think I'd quite like him as a Doctor. He gives me Fifth Doctor vibes. I think it's the blonde hair. But I think he'd be an interesting Doctor, if not a safe one. What I like about this choice with Shooty is he's young still, and he's a relatively unknown face, whereas Martin Sheen is a at least here in the UK, a very well-known name, whereas Shooty is only known for Sex Education, and from the comments on every social media post, that show's apparently not as popular as I thought it was for a show that trends #1 on Netflix all the time, or maybe Netflix just isn't as popular as it lets you think it is.
It's Netflix. They fudge the numbers all the time, I imagine. We need to put our show at #1 trend so people will watch it.
Yeah, it's trending. But it's if anything, it's going to turn more eyes onto Sex Education, and amazingly, most of the comments I've been seeing have been extremely positive, which is very nice to read for once regarding Doctor Who.
I've seen a couple of racist comments. I've seen a couple of comments being like, thinking of people thinking Chibnall is still running the show as
I've seen a few comments of people being like, I don't really care who the Doctor is, I just wish the writing was good, and then somebody commenting being like, hey, Russell T Davies is coming back, right? Which is amazing how somebody could miss the news he's coming back, but although I guess most people don't care who's running a show. You have to, like, most casual audiences do not care who wrote an episode or who directed the episode or whatever,
Yeah, Doctor Who is one of those rare shows where most people are aware of who's the showrunner and who's writing this episode and whatever. It's interesting.
Yeah. But if anything, I'm even more excited to see what this next generation, this next version of Doctor Who is going to look like. It's going to be wild, and it still doesn't feel real that Jodie's regenerating in presumably just after the summer, not long. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird.
So from what I understand, the anniversary special is going to shoot next month, and it's shooting early because after that I think he's going to go off and shoot season 4 of Sex Education, so that's why it's being shot early, I believe.
Okay.
And then maybe he'll be written out of Sex Education and then probably film a new series in the spring of next year, I'd imagine.
Yeah, or he'll try doing both shows at once, and that would be just an insane work schedule because Sex Education is hour-long episodes. It's like pretty high budget as well, and then BBC will be high budget again and 40-minute episodes, which would just be an insane workload. So I can see him leaving Sex Education.
I can. Yeah, maybe show up for a couple of. I can see Sex Education ending as well. Cause, Netflix is going downhill and.
Yeah, I could see season 4 being the last season. It's a show that doesn't need too many seasons, honestly. But it's exciting news. We have a new Doctor. Doesn't feel right. The 14th Doctor, cannot believe it.
I'm kind of speechless at the moment because it's just so out of the blue and just somebody I didn't know. But that's like most Doctors. I don't know who they are unless before they get
the last Doctor I knew was none of them, because I didn't remember David Tennant getting cast as the Doctor because obviously I was like 6, and that was my first time ever seeing him was as the Doctor. Matt Smith, never heard of him before. Peter Capaldi, I had never heard of him before. Jodie Whittaker, I had never heard of her before. This is actually the first Doctor that I actually know who he is going into it.
I didn't know Matt Smith. I was too young to understand David Tennant being cast. I didn't know Matt Smith. I knew Peter Capaldi for his Doctor Who role and Torchwood role as well, so I knew who he was. And he was in Mr. Bean, the movie, I believe.
You see, I would have definitely seen him in Mr. Bean, and I definitely saw him in Fires of Pompeii and stuff, but I just did not remember him from Fires of Pompeii until somebody was like, oh, he was in Fires of Pompeii, and I went, oh, cool. He was not an actor whose name or face I ever bothered to remember until he was in Doctor Who, and now I love him.
And I knew Jodie Whittaker only vaguely because of Attack the Block, and
didn't like that movie.
I almost called it Sex Mirror, Black Mirror.
I don't remember the episode of Black Mirror she's in. Attack the Block I did not enjoy very much. I knew of Jodie through Broadchurch, really, but I watched Broadchurch last year, so I really wasn't knowledgeable of what her performance was like. But this one I'm going in with an expectation because I know how good Ncuti can be. Whereas every other Doctor I've gone in with no expectations.
But still, even you aren't that aware of his acting.
No, I've only seen him play one character.
Yeah, he's only really done like maybe 4 shows, and most of those shows are just popping up in an episode here and there, and maybe like 4 movies, and those are minor roles. So this is his second big role. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is probably his. This is 100%. This is the biggest role he's ever had. Possibly going to be the biggest role he ever gets. He could be a Karen Gillan in that uses this to launch into just an incredible career, or it could be Matt Smith where he goes to bad projects after this for a long time.
Hopefully the former.
Yeah, and hopefully this Game of Thrones show with Matt Smith is good, but. This is just the breaking news episode. We're about to go record our Doctor Who movie podcast episode. Spoilers for 2 weeks' time. I cannot wait. But we'll just wrap it up now. I guess I don't have anything else to say other than oh boy, I'm excited. So bye bye. Jeez.
Bye.
Send us an email. Send us an email at whowatcheswhopod@gmail.com. What do you think about this casting of the new Doctor? Are you familiar with Ncuti? What are you expecting? Had you heard of him? No? Yes? Have you heard of any of the Doctors before they got cast? Jeez, send us an email, whowatcheswhopod@gmail.com, and we'll read it out in the news episode at the end of the month. Okay, right. Bye-bye.
Bye.